Yeah. Okay, welcome everybody to the Town of Orangetown Town Board meeting of September 10th, 2024. Madam Town Clerk on a roll call.
Councilman Paul Valentine.
Here.
Councilman Jerry Batari.
Here.
Councilman Brian Donahue.
Here.
Councilman Dan Sullivan. Here. Supervisor Teresa Kenny.
Here, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so I do have a couple of announcements, but before I get to them, I just want to mention how our community bucket challenge went this past weekend. So for those who aren't aware, I don't know how, because we were stalking people on Facebook. The town of Orangetown had a community bucket challenge. We raised over $26,000 for ALS United Greater New York at a request of a resident who has ALS. That money is going to be earmarked to buy equipment and things that will help the lives of people with ALS be easier. So it's not going towards research or to some national entity. It's going to be used locally to help people with ALS. So we did have a kind of a challenge going on. So we had a bunch of teams. I want to thank all of them, but Team Kiri's Crazies blew away the field. They raised over $17,000. The next closest in fundraising was my team with $1,400. so they clearly won. As far as we wanted to recognize the people who showed up with the most people that actually went underneath the water, and I think that goes to the Rockland GAA. They showed up a little bit late in the day, but they had a check for $1,000, and if I had to guess, it was over 30 people, women, men, children. They all went under the bucket, and so I think they probably get the most participants. I also just want to recognize the Pearl River School District, who raised over $1,100 and had 4 to 5 teachers that got dunked on. Councilman Paul Valentine had a team. Councilman Jerry Batari and Brian Donahue both donated, some to my team, some not. You did. The guy next to you didn't. And they all got dunked, so they were there. We also had Rambunctious Running Rally, which was Carmel's team, County Legislator Ray Sheridan, Assemblyman John McGowan, Congressman Mike Lawler, the American Legion Auxiliary Unit 329, Team Kevin Curran, and the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick. So we had a real great team there. I want to thank Carmel and Allison for all the work that they did in planning this. I want to acknowledge Captain Mike Shannon, Town Attorney Rob Magrino, and Justice Court Pat Loftus, as well as Superintendent of Parks and Recreation Eric Gordon, who were good sports and all got dunked. I don't know, was Eric here? Oh, there he is. So Eric, you are being bestowed an additional comp/vacation day by me. I don't know if it's totally allowed, but you're not in the union, so I could do whatever I want, but you deserve a day. Eric was there. He was there early, he was setting up, he was there the whole time. He thought he was going to get out of getting dunked. He said, I will only go in if Rob Magrino goes in, thinking Rob Magrino was never going to go in, but then Judge Loftus shamed him into doing it, so you all had to go into the water. But the judge ordered you? The judge ordered you to do it, so they all went in the water. But he was there a long day. We were there cleaning up. It was pouring rain on us. He really earned, you really probably earned more, but I'm only giving you one, so enjoy it, okay? But anyway, so that was one great event. And the other one, we had the Beloved Sons of Italy, the 4-day feast, which if you didn't get over there, I would highly recommend next year you do. The food, the music, it's a great time. It just really shows how great Orangetown is as a community. So I just wanted to point out those 2 great events that were over the weekend and move on to our regular announcements. We do have tomorrow, September 11th, we have several ceremonies around the town. We have the Volunteer Fire Association of Tappan ceremony is tomorrow morning at 8:30 at the Tappan Memorial Triangle in Tappan. The Orangetown PBA is having one tomorrow night at 5 p.m. at Veterans Memorial Park in Orangeburg, and the Village of Nyack is having one tomorrow night at 6:30 at Memorial Park on the Hudson in Nyack. So that's all tomorrow's 9/11 ceremonies locally anyway. We have the public hearing for the proposed zone change for 676 and 680 Western Highway and the north end of Ellsworth Drive. It's scheduled for September 24th at 7:05 p.m. I know we've been receiving some emails and things about that, so wanted to get that out there as quick as we could. And now we do have some presentations, so we're going to start with PKF O'Connor Davies for the, presenting on the audit, the fiscal year ending 2023. Come on up.
Good evening, Honorable Supervisor, members of the Town Board. My name is Nicholas DeSantis, and with me is Robert Danielle. We're both partners at the firm of PKF O'Connor Davies. This evening, we're here to present to you the financial audit for the town for the year ended December 31st, 2023. What we've provided to you is a synopsis taken from the financial statements, which you have, which are the very thick booklet, which is spiral bound. And to also help the public follow along, we put up a PowerPoint reflective of that booklet. So if we can start with page 2 of the PowerPoint, you'll see that we've laid out a schedule of the information that we're going to discuss with you. The general fund, which is the primary operating fund for the town, as well as its Town Outside Villages Fund, which contains the information and financial information for the police, as well as other village activities outside of the contained within the villages. And the other funds are the sewer, the highway, the debt service, capital projects, and special district funds. And of course, you also have some enterprise funds, which are the Blue Hill Golf Course, the Broadacres, and you have workers' compensation and risk retention. And we also provided a summary of your borrowing. So as you can see, and I know you as town board members understand it, but we just like the public to understand that the financial operations of the town is quite complex. It's broken into different funds, and each of those funds are self-reliant. And you as a town board, you pull that all together when you put together your budget that you adopt. On page 3, we just indicated when we completed our field work, when we completed the audit, and what we've delivered to the town. You'll notice that there were no uncorrected deficiencies or differences between our audit and your financial staff, and the opinion that we issued on your financial statement is an unmodified opinion, which in common parlance is known as a clean opinion. On page 4, we just want to point out some kudos to your financial staff that, again, they've received the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association. It's a national association. Only about 30 or 40 entities in the state of New York actually received this award, and you've received it 17 consecutive years in a row. So you have a good financial team. They cooperated with us on the audit, and they did a very good job. So we're going to turn to page 6, and we're going to go right into your general fund. Rob, would you like to take off on that?
Yeah, so if we look at page 6, this is a high-level look at your general fund. You can see there are 4 columns. The original budget is what the town board approved back in the winter of 2022, again from a high level. Your total revenues were a little under $15.2 million. Your expenditures were $16.1 million, representing a shortfall, if you will. And how was that shortfall broken even here? You can see that bracketed net change in fund balance, the $948,000. $148,478 are what we call prior year encumbrances that you committed to. You just didn't receive the goods and services. Those roll forward into the current year, and the larger number, $800,000, is what you designated from 2022 to balance the 2023 budget and thus provide a form of property tax relief.
So that appropriation of fund balance was from prior year's surpluses.
The middle column is your final budget. Things happen during the year. The budget is amended. You can see very slight changes to the revenues and the expenses. The big item is your transfers out. You see the $827,000 that's bracketed. The town did appropriate some fund balance to move to the capital projects fund to continue its capital work and do some additional work on the new town hall. So you come down to a net change of $1.8 million. So if everything went according to your plan, you would have expected to use $1.8 million of your own funds. Third column is what actually happened. You can see from a revenue standpoint, revenues came in $486,000 better than your budget. And on the expense side, which was really the savings, the expenditures came in $1.2 million less than your final budget. You take your revenue, subtract your expenses, and take into account what we call other financing sources, and you come down to a net change in fund balance of $67,000, almost a break-even year. That means your revenues exceeded your expenditures by $67,000. You're able to add that to your opening fund balance of $14 million, and you end the year at $14.1 million.
And for those that follow the budget, if you look at the third number up from the far right column, $1,876,000, that was your budget surplus for 2023. So you intended to spend $1.8 million from prior years' accumulated surpluses, but you didn't. So you actually had a budget surplus of $1.8 million.
If we turn to page 7, this is a 5-year look back at your fund balance. And if we focus on the 2023 column, you can see what we call non-spendable fund balances, advances. This was a loan given to the golf course, and the town has been paying that back over the past 10 years. The golf courses did very well this year. The agreement called for paying back $200,000 a year. The town paid back $500,000 a year this year in '23. So that money is set aside in the event that these payments stop in the future. You have purchases on order, roughly about $300,000. These are open purchase orders. These are going to automatically amend your '24 budget. And the big number there, the $1.3 million, is what the town utilized of its own fund balance to balance the budget. So overall, your
2024 budget.
To '24 budget, I'm sorry.
Right.
So overall, your unassigned fund balance, we like to compare that to your final budget for your '24 adopted budget, and you can see the calculation at the bottom, $8 million on a $16 million budget. So very healthy fund balance, 52% of your budget, and that gives the town, if there are unforeseen expenses, it allows you to utilize those funds.
General fund is in a very good position. There was one accounting change that made the unassigned fund balance go from 11.2 to 8.5, an adjustment from an accounting pronouncement on sales tax that shifted the sales tax from the general fund to the town outside. So that has been reflected in the financial statements. And in your 2024 budget, you're following that same accounting pronouncement. So there will be no change when we come in and to do the 2024 audit.
The next, on slide 9, you can see the town outside villages, the police. Again, in comparison of your original budget to your actual results. Same presentation. If we come down to the deficiency of revenues over expenditures, the bracketed $1.1 million. There's two components to that. $1 million was used from your own fund balance to balance the 23 budget, and again, $118,000 were open POs that automatically roll. From an actual standpoint, you can see your revenues came in $626,000 better than your final budget, and you also had expenditure savings of almost $400,000. If you look at the top, I try to detail it in the literature below. What we call the non-property taxes, which is your sales tax, that's allocated to the TOV police, resulted in revenues that exceeded the budget by over $286,000. On the other hand, what we call departmental income, your police fees dropped a bit in '23. You did a lot of filming in '22 that wasn't present in '23, or not to that extent. Intergovernmental charges there, you can see exceeded the budget by almost $300,000, and that was due to the addition of a school resource officers. And the other big number is your use of money and property. Interest rates remain relatively high compared to 21 and 22, and that exceeded the budget by over $150,000. So again, overall, almost a break even. You had a slight deficiency of expenditures that exceeded revenues by $102,000. But as Nick points out, from a budget standpoint, you did all the way to the right, $1 million better than you anticipated. Next slide is the TOV Other. TOV Other also had a really good year. Same kind of presentation on the original budget. The bracketed $683,000 in the first column. $500,000 is what you utilize from your own fund balance to balance the budget. The balance of $183,413, again, were open POs. When we compare the actual results to your final budget, you can see revenues came in $3 million over budget. A significant piece of that is, as Nick mentioned, some of that was your sales tax, but a large portion is your departmental income, your permit fees, $5.1 million on a $2.3 million final budget. So you exceeded the budget by $2.8 million, and that really generated the surplus. If you look in the middle of the page, you also had expenditure savings of over $700,000, but overall, your revenues exceeded your expenditures by $3.1 million. You're able to add that to your opening fund balance of $2.8 million, and you end the year at just under $6 million. This is a combined look back at your town outside village fund balance. You can see from 22 to 23 a large jump in your what we call the sign for these purposes. If we focus on the 23 column, $1.2 million are set aside for prepaid expenditures. That just means that you paid for some insurance or retirement for 24 early, and that'll get recognized in the current year you're in, and it'll be taken from that bucket.
You disperse the cash, but the timing is a 24 expense.
You have $221,000 set aside for law enforcement. That's restricted for that purpose. You have some open POs, about $60,000 or so, and you're utilizing $1.5 million to balance the current budget you're in, the 24 budget. Again, your assigned fund balance specific to the town outside village jumped from $2.4 million to $7.8 million. Again, in a great financial position of comparing your assigned fund balance to your 2024 adopted budget is 20% of your budget, which is relatively healthy.
And that breaks almost even between the police fund and the other villages, that fund balance. You're in very good financial condition in both the general fund as well as the town outside villages fund.
Page,
Go ahead.
No, slide 12, you do operate other funds very quickly. You have a sewer fund. Sewer fund appears financially stable. You have $2.8 million. Overall fund balance of $3.9 million. 2.8 is set aside specifically for the sewer fund, and you do have some open purchase orders. Highway fund appears to be financially stable as well. Again, $1.7 million, almost $1.8 million in fund balance. Specifically for highway purposes, you are utilizing $200,000 to balance the 2024 highway fund budget. You have $1.7 million in a debt service fund that can be used in future years to pay down debt. It's restricted for that purpose. You have an active capital projects fund. I know the town just did a large, obviously a new town hall over the past couple of years. There's still some monies that haven't been spent, and those are restricted for capital purposes. And you do have special district funds, mainly the village of South Nyack was dissolved into the town a year or so back, and generally, or mostly this fund balance relates to the village of South Nyack, $2.6 million. You do operate a couple of golf courses. You can see that overall revenues are up about $120,000 or so compared to 2022, while your expenses are down about $265,000 or so. Overall, you're able to generate a profit, if you will, of $655,000. So the net position of the Blue Hill Golf Course is a little over $3 million. Again, doing relatively really good over the past, I would say, 5 years or so, and the town is paying back its advance above and beyond what the agreement was because of that. You do also operate a Broad Acres golf course. Again, revenues were up slightly, about $50,000 or so compared to 2022. Expenditures were up about the same, about $50,000 or so. You were able to generate a profit, if you will, of $100,000. So that's added to your net position. So there's money. This is turning the page 2 from a deficit in 21-22 to a $150,000 surplus, if you will.
I should note, about 2.5 decades ago, I got a hole-in-one on Broad Acres. About 2.5 decades ago. I got a hole-in-one on Broad Acres. The only one I ever got.
You are self-insured, or you do operate 2 internal service funds, one for workers' comp. You can see that's funded from the various funds, mostly your general fund and your town outside villages. You can see that the net position's in a bracket or in the hole, if you will. There are 2 components. An internal service fund is, and not to get into the weeds of it, is accounted for what we call a full accrual basis. So we get a report from an actuary that says what's your exposure. They calculate a number. We have to record that. If you look at the third number up, the claims payable, you can see if you take the non-current and the current piece, it's roughly $3 million. You're not required to pay the non-current piece. That's going to be paid over time. But it's something that we need to record. If you were to add back that non-current piece, you would be in a positive. So this fund is operating in accordance to the standards.
Right, it operates as an enterprise fund as opposed to a governmental fund, which means we have to, just like a private business has to record all its liabilities. Liabilities are estimated here for your exposure, but you can see from the asset side how much cash and receivables you have in that fund to meet those needs in the event that they become due.
The current liabilities are what's due over the next year. You see that $315,000. You got cash inflows of $2.2 million. So the non-current liabilities, which is the actuarial assumptions for the next 50 years, is why that number is so great. So every year this is going to be negative, but we are certainly in a position to cover our current liabilities for the next year, and it just continues to roll on.
As Finance Director indicated, the important thing is that you have the assets to cover the non-current portion. Go ahead, risk retention.
You operate a risk retention fund, same scenario. You have current and long-term. If you backed out the long-term piece, you certainly have assets to cover those liabilities. We put in a slide here on your debt or your bonds outstanding. The town does have $77.9 million of outstanding bonds. That's payable over time. We are required to report payments over the next 5 years and then in increments of 5 years. You could see that at the bottom. I just wanted to point out, over the next, in 24, 25, 26, your debt service payments are roughly about $7 million, drops to about $6.2 million. So the timing of issuing the debt to build a new town hall kind of works out with the 2% tax cap, so you're not spiking in any particular year. So it kind of levels off over a period of time.
And on page 18, next page, we just have a summary of closing points. And as we presented to you, the town is in very good financial condition in all of its funds. And the town enjoys a very good bond rating from the rating agencies. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Well, we appreciate the opportunity to continue to serve the town of Orangetown. What we've done is we've left a little bit more detail in another pamphlet for talking points for the town board members. Feel free to contact us if you need us. Thank you.
Thank you.
This on here, okay, so we'll just jump right into the special districts budget presentations. The first one we have is the Blauvelt Volunteer Fire District.
Good evening, Supervisor Kennedy and Town Council. Mike Conklin here from the Blauvelt Volunteer Fire Company. The Blauvelt Volunteer Fire Company, Inc. is submitting a budget for the fire protection services for the hamlet of Blauvelt 2025-26 of $698,700. This is at a 5.2 from our current year's budget increase. We are in possession of our new 2001 and will be in service soon, as this was paid off from our fund balance, and we are adjusting our fund balance for incoming because originally we budgeted $750,000 for a truck. It now runs close to $1 million to replace, unfortunately. So some of our budget item increases, unfortunately, are gas and fuel for our fire trucks. We have seen an increase in alarms over the past year. We've also seen an increase in the budget line of new equipment, chief's expenses, training, uniforms, keys and badges, physical exam, health and safety, for a good reason. Blauvelt Volunteer Fire Company had an increase of over 10 members in the last year and a half, which is really a great thing for the company, but along with it comes the expense. Last year, when we put our budget together for gear for a firefighter, we were averaging about $5,350 per person. Right now, we're at $5,720 a person, and that's just to put him in the fire. With each firefighter, he needs a uniform. Along with that comes keys and badges. Company physicals have gone up, and training in-house and outside vendors. In the past Saturday, in the rain, 18 members of our fire department attended an extrication class for over 6 hours at the firehouse. Health and safety is always on our minds because of cancer prevention and the cleaning of our gear, more readily now than was in the past. Fire protection materials have gone up. We, with Blauvelt, Tappan, and Spark Hill, go to the 2 elementary schools and handouts and supplies, and along with our open house. Along with this, we don't know where we're going to be in a year, but OSHA has come down with this new regulation, 1910-156, which has really thrown a curveball to all of the firefighting, EMS, and somewhat police in their budgets. Unfortunately, OSHA has not done anything with this in about 20 years, and now all of a sudden they're hitting them with all kinds of regs. We have sent letters in on it. The new change is up to November for more input, and we'll see what OSHA is going to say from that point forward. But there can be some drastic things coming down where our firefighters may not be fire fit. The physicals they're making and requirements and stress tests, we may not pass. And the equipment that they're asking to do with us and what we need is phenomenal. I mentioned it to Jeff before, and I don't know how much of the council realizes what this is, coming down with, but all fire districts and all fire departments, EMS, are going to get hit with this new regulation. Hopefully, they're going to do it on a graduated level where one implementation, whatever, but it's going to be tough. As always, the Blauvelt Volunteer Fire Company is dedicated to providing fire service protection to Blauvelt 24/7, 365. Respectfully submitted, Mike Conklin, Treasurer.
Thanks, Mike.
Have any questions? I hope, Jeff, did you give them a budget? Yeah. Okay. Or the sheet? Okay.
Yeah, just the summary we got, Mike.
All right.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Rockland Paramedics.
Good evening, Supervisor Kenny and Town Council. My name is Tim Egan. I'm the Executive Director for Rockland Paramedic Services. I want to start by thanking you for the increased funding you gave us for the 2024 fiscal year. That funding received this year allows us to continue to provide the necessary paramedic services to the Orangetown community. When we spoke last year, we told you that if funded at the requested level for subsequent years, we'd only be seeking cost of living increases. Although we've had significant increases in certain line items this year, or for 2025, I should say, we're keeping our budget increased request to 3.1% for total expenses, and if funded for the Capital Equipment Sinking Fund, this request is 5.25%. Capital equipment includes a portion of a prorated cost for the replacement paramedic truck eventually, and funds already expended for our cardiac monitor defibrillators that we've bought and paid for over the past 3 years. We've been making significant strides in cost reductions, which is how we're able to keep our budget increases down. Due to the sale of our subsidiary Rockland Mobile Care last year, we no longer need our headquarters building, and we're currently under contract for sale. The proceeds of the sale will replenish our exhausted reserve fund, which is used to pay for unbudgeted capital equipment and to cover budget deficits. We've reduced administrative overheads. We'll be outsourcing fleet maintenance next year, and we've reduced many other recurring expenses that we can discuss if you'd like. Again, I want to thank you for our current funding level, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Anybody?
Jeff, are we going to get full budgets that we?
Whatever they submitted to you?
Yeah, just so we can see what the reserves and everything.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, South Orangetown Ambulance Corps?
My name is Pete Romisher, Deputy Chief Treasurer of the South Orangetown Ambulance Corps. I'm here with Steve Harris of Orangeburg, President of the South Orangetown Ambulance Corps. Madam Supervisor, Town Council, Rob, Jeff, Joe, thank you for having us. On behalf of all the directors, officers, and members of the South Orangetown Ambulance Corps, we are representing them tonight at this budget presentation. Those same members who, by the way, are very appreciative. We all received our school tax bills of the volunteer tax credit that we get from this town board and from the school board, and it does not go unnoticed. Those are the same members that for the past Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were at the Italian Fest. They were at the TZ football game Friday night, where we unfortunately lost to Pearl River. They were at the summer concert series Thursday night at Veterans, and whether we're at the GAA events.
You weren't at the splash pad.
Smarter than that.
You go.
So-
That's the whole idea.
So thank you again for all the financial support and the community support that we get. We are appearing in front of the planning board tomorrow night for hopefully what is final review of our expansion plans after going through all of the other town boards. So we're excited that hopefully tomorrow we get final approval on adding 4 new bays to our existing structure, and over half of it a second floor that's going to help. Prior to tonight's meeting, I met with Jeff in his office. We went over line by line our budget that we're submitting tonight to the town. Prior to that submission, I emailed Jeff. We have a draft clean opinion. I don't have the final opinion yet, but this is a draft clean opinion that I sent to him of our financial position. So the information you've been provided with has been reviewed and clean opinion offered by the CPA. We, again, this year, I'm going to put on my glasses, sorry. Total operating budget for the ambulance corps, $1,201,000, of which we're going to offset with our insurance reimbursement revenue recovery program, $801,000, for the same net request to the town of Orangetown of $400,000. We believe we present fairly to the town, and happy to answer any questions and happy to serve the town.
0% change.
You should have started with that.
And we keep doing that by increasing the amount that we take from the revenue recovery, and by doing so, we're not replacing the ambulances with brand-new ambulances, but we're re-chassis them, and we do wind up saving, and that savings is passed on to the residents of the town, as well as ourselves, the taxpayers. So our billing company, Change Healthcare, their parent company is United Healthcare Optum. They suffered a cyber attack. The parent company suffered a cyber attack, which also affected people's prescriptions over at CVS on a larger scale than their billing operations, but we weren't able to process, our billing company on our behalf wasn't able to process bills beginning at the end of February, March, April, May, and because our 2,700 calls a year that we go on is so small to the grand scheme of United Healthcare and Optum, we just picked up our billing operations with a new billing company as of less than 2 months ago. So we've been assured by our current billing company that they should not have a problem back billing going back through March. Those monies are starting to roll in, so we're seeing the account balances starting to go up again, which is why we're comfortable taking the $801,000 from revenue recovery. We also have an insurance policy that we took out, a cyber insurance policy that actually covers us. The new billing company is going to be able to create reports if we're not able to recover all of the dollars owed to us, to the town, through the revenue recovery plan. There's a $5,000 deductible on that, but that should help alleviate any major problems that we have. Is that what you wanted? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Okay, Nyack Ambulance Corps? Nope. Why didn't we? You moved mining with the Nyack Ambulance Corps?
Well, I got an email from Mr. McDowell that he, just before the meeting, that he wasn't going to be able to make it. Nyack Ambulance.
He's asking for 14%, no wonder he's not available.
Yes, he is asking for a 14% increase. Nyack Ambulance had the same problem with the billing, and I'm not sure if they had cybersecurity insurance or not. So, but the increase that they're asking for is obviously salary increases. They're also, with the, I guess, there's a lot less, they have a different clientele in South Orangetown, and so they don't get the reimbursements because not a lot of the ambulance trips that they do are covered by insurance. So that's one of the things, and they're trying also to increase their capital plan, so they're trying to build up to be able to buy a new ambulance in the future. So
Now, Clarkstown pays them money too.
it's split 50-50 between
it's 50-50?
us, yes, and Clarkstown, yes. So, but that's what they're asking for. I will send around their budget letter and their request.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have the Orangeburg Library next.
Good evening. My name is Judy Bavona. I'm representing Orangeburg Library. We are asking for a 2% increase. We were reviewing salaries, and we noticed that in the past few years, the circulation desk was receiving less than competitive wage, and so, especially in comparison to other libraries. We also haven't asked for any increase since 2018. And then the other thing that, as you are aware of, the building department has moved out of the Orangeburg Library building that we're co-spacing, and we just don't know what may happen if we need to take care of any maintenance issues, and so it's for that contingency that we're asking for that as well.
Okay,
Okay?
anybody?
Any questions?
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
What's that? I know, that's for another, yeah. Tapan Library.
Good evening, everyone. I love what you've done with the place. Hi, I'm Vicki Caramonte. I am here to represent the Tappan Free Library. The Tappan Library has submitted to you a proposed budget for fiscal 2025 and requests from the town a 1% increase over 2024, which is revised from our original written request of 3%. We work diligently to ensure that our patrons have access to diverse materials, services, and programs. The Tappan Library is more than a place to check out books, and we've given examples of how we do that through our educational support, resources to students and people of all and residents of all ages. In 2023, our year-end statistics show that our overall collection was increased by almost 13%. Our visits have increased by 24%. Wi-Fi usage is up almost 42%. And with other various IT improvements, we've increased connection speed, upgraded Wi-Fi access, and do much more in terms of enabling our residents to be able to access materials that they are interested in. Our total combined program attendance has increased by 18%. The number of children participating in the summer reading club increased by almost 10%, and associated summer reading club attendance increased by 30%, and the value there of the library obviously is far more than just the brick and mortar building where people can get a book, so we are making that request for 1% this year. Thank you for Jeff for always meeting with us and guiding us and giving us good feedback, and we appreciate that, which was one of the reasons why we revised our initial request. Any questions on that? Before I do go, if I might have just a second to offer my condolences and my deep sorrow for the passing of Alan Riff. He was quite a force in Orangetown, and his impact on this town and county, I think people don't always realize, so I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Okay, next we have the Palisades Library.
Good evening, Supervisor Kenny and members of the town board. I'm Marjorie Galen. I'm on the Palisades Free Library Board, and this is Maria Gagliardi, our director. The Palisades Library is asking for a 4% increase this year, and I wanted to explain why. We are expecting a $40,000 shortfall for 2024, and our budget for 2025 shows a similar number. In addition, this year, we are obligated to pay back $12,000 as a result of the HNA tax settlement. Our funding from taxpayers covers most of our operating expenses, though each year we've been subsidizing our shortfalls and all repairs and maintenance from our dwindling reserve fund. The money that is still in reserve is largely from donations to the library and earmarked for necessary improvements to the building. We are in the permit process for upgrading our restroom to current ADA standards, and next year we hope to begin a 150 square foot addition to address a flooding issue and add space to our busy children's room. We are proactive in applying for all available grant funding and work hard at fundraising, but it's not enough to meet our operating expenses. We are asking for 4% this year because our shortfall has been increasing as the cost of running the library has increased. We hope you will consider our request, which is a total of $16,000 to offset these costs. We're happy to answer any questions that you have.
Yeah, I'm curious on the HNA, is that from the money the school district gives you? So they're making you kind of eat a portion of it? Huh.
Yep. Yeah. Whatever they got settled that they didn't have to pay, we have to pay back.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that's just us, not the other, because it's obviously it's in Palisades, so. Not the other libraries.
I think that's a little interesting.
We can change it. You can talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, right, because they give you guys like, what's that? I think they give like, right, lump sums, like you each get like a certain amount of money, right?
But there was a state settlement saying that the schools can charge back libraries. So they've been doing that for years, but it hasn't been a sum of this amount. So every time someone challenges their taxes, it would get taken out of the money that we're given that year. And usually it's just $100, $50 that's withheld from us. But this year, because of the large tax settlement with HNA, we were informed by the school that they will be withholding $12,000 out of our $82,000.
Damn HNA, it just won't go away. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, the Blauvelt Library.
Hi, good evening, Supervisor and Council members. My name is Deborah Gallagher. I'm a trustee at the Blauvelt Library. I am here representing them with our director, Claire Morrissey. And at this point, we are asking for no monies. We feel that we can operate with what we have been working with presently.
Perfect.
Short and sweet.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions that we can answer?
No, we're always good with 0. Okay. So I guess.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I guess we can quickly workshop these items here. We have the first item, as I think we discussed, basically setting a public hearing on a proposed local law, which would be added to our code of ethics, which would basically prohibit employees from recording either video or audio, other employees, I guess without their knowledge or consent. Or they cannot do it at all. They ask if they consent. I didn't
Right,
do
it's
it.
regarding town business, and it's without knowledge or consent.
Without
so.
knowledge or consent. So we've had
And
some
there's exceptions, of course, for law enforcement and surveillance cameras.
Right, okay. Just because unfortunately, that's the world we live in right now. So that's 3, 4, and then 5, we have appoint Brendan Carton, to a permanent position. He was, I guess, had to take a test, so he passed the test, and so he's a computer operator effective September 11th. Number 6, the highway accept the dedication for public improvements. It's basically dedicating a public roadway, private Del Regno. We were just talking about this, private Del Regno. Number 7, award a contract to Cipriano and Sons, All County Asphalt for paving on Rockland Road and Spark Hill. Number 8, grant unpaid leave of absence to employee number 3176. Again, this is the retroactive one through September 9th. The employee is actually back. That was an unpaid leave. Number 9, combined 10 through 13. So they're all lend assistance. One is to the Tappan Fire District for their fire truck dedication on September 28th. One is to Dominican University for Fire in the Sky, which is September 28th. And one is, 12 and 13 are both Orangeburg Fire Department. One is for the Halloween parade, and the other one is for their holiday parade on December 14th. All good stuff. Then we'll do the order. Okay, on that note, can we get a motion to open the public portion?
I make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, nobody signed up to sign. Is there anybody who would like to speak? Okay, going once, going twice. Motion to close?
Close. Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, number 3, motion to set the public hearing, again, for the Code of Ethics for October 8th at 7:20 PM.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Rob, do we have the draft of that already?
Yeah.
You do?
I emailed it around, it's in the backup, I'll send it again.
Okay. Number 4, I guess, is SECRA, declaration of intention to declare ourselves as lead agency with related to that law.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 5, appoint Brendan Carton to position computer operator, permanent, effective September 11th, 2024.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is Brendan around here? Brendan leave?
He's hiding behind the mirrors.
He's behind it.
He's in the classroom in there. Okay. Number 6, accept the dedication of, again, the private Del Regno Court in Blauvelt.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 7, award a contract to All County Asphalt for paving of Rockland Road and Spark Hill.
Motion.
I'll
Motion.
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 8, approve the unpaid leave of absence from August 15th to September 9th for employee 3176. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 9, combine and approve items number 10 through 13.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you, sir.
Make it quick. We have a debate to watch.
Thanks.
Got my popcorn ready and everything.
Thank you.
The audit for tonight consists of 4 warrants for a total of $1.1 million. Items of interest, number 4, Chestnut Ridge, $83,000 for Parks Summer Bus Transportation. Number 12, Hempstead Lincoln Mercury, $90,000 for police vehicles.
And number 18, State Comptroller, $123,000 for justice fines. Any questions on the audit?
No. Motion to accept the audit,
I'll make a motion to accept.
and take your germs and go home. Okay, so I had a first and a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Okay, so we are going to go into executive session. We have some personnel-related matters. We're going to do some interviews, and we have to discuss the proposed acquisition or sale, lease of property when it might affect the value. So we are going to close in adjournment. We have some adjournments in memory of. We have Cara Jeannie Fleming, a resident of Pearl River, very sad. Jeanette Hosang, founder of Caribbean Food Delights, which is a business here in Tapan. Alan Riff, as was mentioned earlier. Alan was a member of the Historic Areas Board of Review, the Orangetown Environmental Committee, and former Orangetown Town Board member and deputy town supervisor. I did not know that he was on the town board. He's back in town, what we said in the 90s, right? Yeah. Ruth Vizzetti, another well-known resident of Tapan, and Paul Yanazone, he's the brother of Traffic Advisory Board Chairman Mike Yanazone and the uncle of Orangetown employee Sergeant Michael Yanazone Jr. and Chris Yanazone. So we are going to go into executive session. We will be not voting on anything else when we come out. So can I get a motion to go into executive session and adjourn in memory of? And
I make a motion. I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Oh.
I make a motion.